And USA, the men's soccer team is about to face Belgium. Um, I don't know if this is like the biggest international sporting event that's happened in modern history in Seattle. It sure felt like it when I was there earlier today. Of course, the loser goes home with this match being in Seattle. We're down to 16 teams, of course. And so any loser at this point is done. You're done for the World Cup. And I'll tell you, the city was hopping. I arrived in the city via the Link Light Rail from Federal all the way into the city just shortly after 9 o'clock this morning, and everything was already hopping. There were already some other soccer fans on the train. I will tell you, when I first got on in Federal, the trains were pretty empty. Not a lot of people on at all. You get a little further north, you get up towards Kent Des Moines and then SeaTac Airport and then into South Seattle, more people were getting on board. And certainly by the time you get into, the Othello and Columbia City stations there where they're on the street grade, there are a lot more people getting on. It felt perfectly safe. I paid my $3 fare to get on, which is easy. I just did my Apple Pay on my phone and scanned it as you walk in, but I didn't find anyone checking fares. So I will concede to you, I did not pay for a fare on the return trip home, and I never saw anyone on board any of those trains for fare enforcement. Now, a few tents along ML King Way I did see, but not a lot of other evidence of a homeless, drug addicted population that we've been spending a great deal of time reporting on. And the first couple of fans that I spoke with on the west side of the stadium, where they've got all the restaurants open, all the apparel, all of the food trucks. I mean, it's quite a festive environment. And again, as I mentioned, just after 9 this morning, the place was already buzzing like crazy. Um, I happened to encounter a couple of gentlemen that were walking with their USA gear on, and so I said, "Hey," introduced myself, said I was a reporter here, and, "Where are you from? Are you going to the match?" And I happened to find a couple of gentlemen from New Jersey, one apparently a mayor in an unnamed city in New Jersey, but they were very excited about what they had seen so far in the city of Seattle. And here's a little bit of my conversation with Jonathan and Ari from New Jersey.
But when you come to a place like this, after experiencing that, you realize just how integrated this is into the overall vibe of Seattle, and that is, to me, like,
Pretty cool.
amazing. I wish that we had that on the East Coast.
And Ari, what's going to be your biggest takeaway?
Just, I've never been to a sporting event of this magnitude, so just the loudness that I've heard that takes place in this stadium, and the people from all over America and all over the world here is just very cool.
Now, I met another couple up from Flagstaff, Arizona. They too were loving the city and the waterfront, said they would absolutely come back. They had never seen, a world class city, as the one woman described it to me, like right on the water. And they had walked the waterfront last night after arriving in town, and they just said it was spectacular. They could not believe how beautiful it was. I also met, though, a man named Mike Kinney. He was sitting with some friends inside Sluggers. If you're familiar with the Stadium District, that's been there forever. They've got, Mariners baseball stuff everywhere inside that place. Pretty cool environment. I was starving. I went in, and yeah, they were serving even their little corn dog bites at 10 a.m. So that was kind of cool. But I ran into a couple of gentlemen who were sitting and talking. They were obviously soccer fans, or I guess all of us are dressed up like this right now. And I talked to a man who is very familiar with the city, named Mike Kinney, and he said, I've got some concerns. I've got some concerns because, yes, I've seen the area cleaned up so that we can present, quintessential Seattle to the rest of the world. But he's concerned about what it's going to be like once all the fans are gone.
Celebrating my hometown of Seattle and what it used to be, trying to bring some of that magic back. The city spent $100 million to clean it up, make it look good. I appreciate that. And I just want to be part of the fun and excitement in this little window that the city has permitted us to have before it turns back to what Seattle has become and becoming. temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid. We all know that. We realize it. We're smart enough. Why would they have spent $100 million for extra security cameras and police if it didn't need a fix? It should have been just ready to go.
Now, there are still people panhandling. I did not see a lot of them. I did not see evidence as I have before in that whole Pioneer Square area where you've got like, multiple tents along the corner or guys sleeping in storefronts. I did not see that, but I saw several individual people just out with their signs and sort of panhandling. And one of them is this gentleman named Jason. And he told me he's got a tiny house in Interbay. Now we know my colleague Randy Diamond has reported on this in recent weeks. The mayor of Seattle opened some expanded tiny house village accommodations in Interbay. He said he's got one there and he said he's receiving some services there for his physical disability. He's got some shoulder problems and other issues. But he said, I come down to the stadium district anytime there's a match or a game or anything going on, because I know I'm going to find people that might be willing to contribute. So here's part of my conversation with Jason.
And so tell me about you've got a tiny house in Interbay.
Yeah, I stay in a tiny house in Air Bay. Come down here and make some money.
Okay. How's it been how have the crowds been? Because a lot of people are from out of the area.
Oh yeah, it's been interesting. I was down here when Iran played in Egypt, but Israel was protesting Iran too. So there's some flag grabbing and stuff like that going on. So.
Okay. Have people been generous?
Yeah, some have, yeah.
Or have
like
you gotten the usual comments too, or have people been mostly kind?
Yeah, most of the time.
And if you don't mind my asking, how long have you been kind of on the streets, if you will? I know you've got a tiny house now, but
Almost my life.
Really?
Now, in conjunction with today's big match, we've got folks that have been pushing back on Mayor Katie Wilson's policies over dealing with homelessness fueled by drug addiction. And are we just shifting that somewhere else? And before today's match, plans were well underway with We Heart Seattle founder Andrea Suarez and others from Chinatown International District. They feel like they've been dumped on during all this. They say all the homeless drug addicts have been pushed from the Stadium District in Pioneer Square to the International District and that their business has suffered as a result. So if you're headed downtown for the match this afternoon, that might be something that you see. They intended to have a presence right outside the Stadium District to kind of bring some attention to this. So we'll wait and see what happens when the world is no longer watching. Again, I can tell you it was a cleaned up district from what I have seen in recent weeks and months. And so now we just wait to see how much we beat Belgium by in the match this afternoon. So go Team USA.